Uh, Good morning to one and all. So, let us understand what is the basic entities that are there in the application layer. We have discussed the bottom layers of the OSI model, but it is all these um, application layer, I mean all the bottom layers are used for data transfer or transfer facility they provide. But when it comes for the internet application, or when we want to use any resource from the internet, a user is required. So whatever, I mean, the direct connection of a user with the internet is only through the application layer, because we cannot understand what is exactly happening, or how the data, I mean data layer is working, or how the transport layer is working. We cannot understand that. But what interface we can use is, that is only the application layer. That is, we can use the mail services, or we can use web applications. All this, that is the top of the OSI layer. So that we can use it as the main thing. So in the application layer, we are going to discuss about few important, in the application layer we are going to discuss some of the important things, like what is domain name system, very important, and what are domain resource records and the name servers. So let us understand what is the domain name system. So whenever we have, I mean, when we want to interact with the internet, or when you want to use some information or some application that is running on a web browser, or when you say like www.facebook.com or www.google.com, when you want to extract some information, that has to be stored somewhere. So somewhere, in the sense, like when I want to like for example, if you take my desktop, I want to extract some information, so it will be present in either D drive or I drive, or again, if you take in D drive, it will be in its subfolder, like say for semester and so on. So there is a proper hierarchy. Similarly, when you want to access some information from the internet, it will be stored in the some space, I mean when some web server is required, so in that it will be stored. So, and how it is stored, it has got a proper structure, it has got a hierarchy, that we call it as the domain name system. And also we know that every URL is has got a domain name, so like gcc.bgm.org, and or facebook.com, or it is a commercial one, or .in, gov.in, or government.in. So these are these different websites that we have, and all these are having got some unique features. So let us understand what is the basic concept of this domain name system. So when you want to access something, you will be having a proper URL. The thing is, in the internet, in terms of internet, all these URL will be having a unique IP address. We know that IP address. Okay, so every element or any system can be uniquely identified by this IP address. So similarly, when you want to access any information from the internet, it will be stored in a proper IP address. The problem that we face is, we cannot remember the IP addresses of all. Like we'll be searching n number of websites on every day, on regular basis. So it is very difficult for us to remember all these IP addresses. So because of this, we require a agency, or we can say a third party, which can translate. But the, in the sense seems that the server cannot understand our name, like www.google.com or facebook.com. This cannot be understood, because it will be stored with respect to the IP addresses. So we required a third party or an agency that can convert the IP addresses, the domain names, into IP addresses. For this, we require this domain name system, and for this we use this domain resource records and name servers. So let us understand this basic architecture, how it is there. So we have got n number of domain names. Basically it starts with a root. So in real life, there are 13 root servers are there. So basically we have 13 root servers, and they are divided into like com, edu, government, museum, org, and so on. So if the website is of education, though, we can say it as a edu, and this is like commercial, it is com. And if you have the net, okay, so in the internet, so it will be net. Or for basically we have generic and countries. So all this com, education, government, all these comes under the generic. Okay, and one more flavor is the countries. So every country has got its own, I mean, dot in for India, like for US, dot UK, and so on. JP for Japanese, and so on. So this is the how we segregate the generic and the country domain names. So let us take this. Please unmute yourself. I request everyone to unmute yourself. So let us understand this now. Okay. So a domain name, although programs theoretically could refer to web pages, mailboxes, and other resources by using the network IP address of the computers on which they are stored, these addresses are hard for people to remember. So as I said, we cannot remember the numbers. Remembering numbers is very difficult. So for that, what we can do is we can give a proper name for this. So whenever, for example, if you create a web application, say like using the JSP or PHP, and when you want to host it, you need to purchase some web space like Amazon Web Service. Okay, so they will provide you a space, and whenever you want to provide, when you want to take it, you need to pay an annual amount, or like say monthly amount has to be there, so that you have to pay, and they will provide you a space. So whenever they provide you a space, it will be basically having a IP address, but that IP address we cannot remember. So for that, what they will do is, so if I want to host a website, like for our college website, if I want to host, so I need to purchase some space by using the any of the cloud services or basically Amazon Web Service, and with that we can give our own name. So it will check like a phone book, okay, like a phone book directory where we'll be having a phone. I mean, we cannot, I mean, our friends' names we remember by using not by number, by names we remember. Similarly, it will be having a dictionary where it consists of the website names and also followed by the IP addresses. So for the use, what we give is, if I am the administrator, I will be knowing the IP address, but you cannot remember the IP address. So I will give you the domain name. So this is the basic concept of the domain name system. Hard for people to remember. To solve this problem, high-level readable names were introduced in order to decouple machine names from the machine addresses. So basically, it is required to convert this names into IP addresses, but the information that will be stored, it will be with the IP addresses. So there is some mechanism is required. So DNS is the hierarchical domain-based naming scheme. As we checked in the diagram, it has got a proper hierarchy. It is like a tree-like structure and a distributed database. So it also consists of a database system for the implementing this naming scheme. It is primarily used for mapping host names and email destinations to IP address. So the basic important aspect of domain name system is to for mapping host names and email destination to IP addresses. So the host names. So whenever I type google.com, it will be having some IP address, or if I say facebook.com or gcc.bgm.org. So whenever I use this, it will be having a proper IP address. So that has to be mapped. Okay. For that, we use this DNS. So how it maps, let us understand this. So basically we require a resolver. Okay. Uh, let us understand this. Okay, so let us consider this is the root domain, and in that we have generic and countries. So again, these are specified into com, edu, government, museum, and so on. So let us say I want to find the Washington. Okay, so if I in Washington there is CS department and English department, and again in that, so this is the tree-like structure, and where we'll be having the leaves. Okay, so these are the endpoints. We can call them as the leaves, but these are the subdomains. Okay, com, edu, these are the subdomains. Again, subdomains can have again further domains like Washington, ACM, and so on. So this is just one example they have given. So now if I want to access some information like Washington, okay, or it has got a washington.com or .cs like this. So what I will do is I will let us understand this in more detailed way. Okay, just for a minute. Okay, let us take this. So consider this as your web page, and you are this is the web page, and you are writing a URL here. Say www dot something. Say www dot facebook.com like this. And once you want to access the information that is present on this or www.gccbgm.org. So once you type this, what it will do is it has to get the IP address first. So for this, what it will do is it will search in the root first. So this will be the root. So it will search in the root. okay, where the information will be present. So it consists of a local DNS first, and from this the information, it will go to the request will be passed to the root first. So in this what we have is we have something called as the resolver. So it basically it is like a sending a request, that we call it as the resolver. So what this resolver will do, it will take the name of this IP address, and that is the URL, like www.gc.bgm.org, and then it will search in the root. And what this root will do, so this sending can be done with the UDP packets, user datagram packets, that can be done. So this root server or the domain will be having its database. In the database, it consists of different records. We are going to study that how the DNS records will be there. In that, it consists of different records, and in turn it will search from right to left, like we have www.gcc.bgm.org. so first it will check with the rightmost part, so whether it belongs to org, or whether it belongs to the government, or whether it belongs to net, and so on. So what this root will do, root will give the information back to the resolver. So this resolver will check whether it is belongs to the edu, government, and museum. It is like coming from the root to the bottom node. So from start with this and arrive at the one of the particular. Suppose I want to find the URL for this washington.edu.cs. So this will be of Washington Education Department of CS. So in that, what it will do is it will give the information that the root will give the information that the user who wants to check Washington, this information is comes under the category of edu. So this will comes under the category of edu. Now once, if it is edu, whether it is belong to Washington or not, again edu can have one more subdomains also, like this org has ACM and IEEE. Like this, edu may have more sessions as well. So more domains as well. So what it will do is it will search with this. Once it confirms that it is Washington, again it will send back a request. It asks for the root. Resolver will ask the request for the root, that whether it belongs to the CS or whether it belongs to the English department. So then again root will give the information. Now this time this Washington department will give the information. Very sorry. Instead of asking for the root, second time it will ask for the edu. Okay, so this resolver will ask for the edu, and then it will check whether it belongs to Washington or not. Once it gets the information that Washington, then it will ask for whether it belongs to the CS department or whether it belongs to the English department. So once it gets the information, then whatever the user has requested, like www.washington.cs.com or the cs.edu here, so that information will be available for the user. So this is how exactly the domain name system works. So basically you type a URL here. Once you type the URL, the information will be sent to the root domain. Basically we have 13 root domains. So out of that it will select one, and for that we require a agency that we call it as the resolver. It is like a library procedure which will call to a root with some parameters, like this root consists of a database records. So it is like a function call. So procedure will be called to get whether it belongs to edu, government, org, and so on. Once it get the information that it belongs to edu, next time the resolver will ask whether it belongs to Washington or some other things. So third time it will check whether it belongs to CS or engineering or English department, and then it will give the proper URL of whatever the user has requested. So this is what the basic concept of DNS. Okay, so let us go back to this and let us understand. So to map a name onto IP address, an application program calls a library procedure called the resolver. Basically, this resolver will be maintained or managed by the internet service providers. Internet service providers will provide this facility, passing it name as a parameter. So it will give it, it is like a function where the name will be sent as a parameter. Then the resolver sends a query containing name to a DNS server, which then looks up the name and returns the IP address to the resolver. So the DNS server the root server, or it can be any, because first initially it will be in the root, and then it will be in the Washington, and it will be in the EDU, and then it will be in the Washington, which then looks up the name and returns the IP address to the resolver, which then returns it to the caller. So caller here is nothing but the user or the programmer who has requested this proper URL. The query and the response messages are sent in the form of UDP packet. So how these queries are sent in the library function, these are done with the UDP packets, the user dividend packets. Once this IP address is gets, then a connection can be established with the TCP connection with the destination and the continue the further processing. So this is the basic idea behind the working of the DNS. Okay. Now, if you have any doubts, please let me know about this working of the DNS, so that I can move with the next concept now. So if anybody has any doubts, unmute yourself and you can ask the doubts. If there are no doubts, then I will go with the next part. Okay. Now let us study about the domain namespace. Like we already discussed now, internet is divided into over 200 top level domains. So to top level, there are 200 domains and so on. It is like every time it is changing, so it is dynamic. We cannot say that it is only required. And basically why this name is required. So you can say that you may have a doubt that we can remember the IP addresses as well. My memory is very strong, I can remember the IP address. But the problem will be, assume that you have purchased a web space or a server space from amazon.com, or okay, or Amazon Web Service provider. After 2 or 3 years, the IP addresses are very dynamic. Okay, so once you if the IP address is changed, what will happen? You have to give different IP addresses to all your users. Suppose if the google.com it is using, so it is using many web services or web servers, and it has got n number of IP addresses. So by chance, if after 2 months or after 2 years, if it changes the IP addresses, what you going to need to do? For all your users, you need to give the IP address to type in the URL. So that is very difficult. So even if you change your IP addresses, your domain name is going to remain same. Okay, so that's why domain names are very much important compared to the IP addresses. I mean, in a bottom line, we can say that remembering of domain names is very simple compared to the IP addresses. So let us understand this domain namespace, how they are divided, where each domain covers many hosts. Okay, so all these we can call them as the hosts. And uh, who is doing that? Okay, please stop doing it. All these domains can be represented by a tree as shown in the following figure. Okay, the leaves of the tree represents domain that have no subdomains. Okay, so these are the leaves, we can say that, which don't have a subdomain containing a single host, or it may represent a company and contain thousands of hosts. Okay, so this is the hierarchy, we can say that, a portion of the internet domain space. So it is a tree-like structure, and the leaves of the tree represent the domains that have no subdomains. So these are the CS, CSL, FLITS, okay, robot, English department, engineering, and so on. These are the leaves, we can say. And how they are converted? They are, again, to avoid the this thing, they are converted into zones, we can say. The top level domains comes into two flavors. We already discussed that, that is generic and countries. So the original generic domains were commercial, for education, and so on. So we can search it, you will get US federal and so on. Also we can have the uh, domain names, that is the generic one, and one is the for the country. So every country will have its own .in for India, like JP for Japanese, and UK for United Kingdom, and so on. So this is what we have. The top naming hierarchy is managed by an organization. So how this is managed? So top of naming hierarchy. So this naming hierarchy is managed by an organization that we call it as the ICANN, Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. So this is the organization which handles this naming scheme. Okay, so how this each domain is consist of? So each domain is named by the path upward from it to the unnamed root. So that is, for example, we have seen in the Unix, if you go in the terminal, you will be having a root, user, bin, and so on. So from the root to the tree, we can say the leaf. Okay, so that is the path we will be having. In the same case, in the domain names also, it starts with the root and then it comes with this. So the root will be dot www dot, okay, it's like engineering.cisco.com. So this is the root, and then after that we have the Cisco, that is a subdomain, and then whether it belongs to this or no, that is the commercial. So while typing, we type it as like eng.cisco.com, but when the resolver is solving, how it solves first with the com, whether it belongs to com or whether it belongs to education and so on. Then it resolves the Cisco, and then it gets for the engineering. So if I have a URL called at gcc.bgm.org, so what the resolver will do, resolver will check for the org first, and then followed by the org, it will go for the BGM, and then it will check for the GCC. So thus the engineering department and Cisco might be having this as the example they are given. So in this also we have two types of names. The domain names can be relative or it can be absolute. So an absolute domain name always ends with a period. So that is we use the dot symbol. Domain names are case insensitive. This is very important. So that means whether you use edu or capital edu, that means the same. And URL will be having, usually what is our nature is we cannot remember the long URLs. So always we try to the common scenario is that we have a URL like 15 to 20 characters, not more than that. But the names can be having they can have 63 characters long, and full path names must not exceed the 255 characters. So maximum we can have 250 characters, but full path, that is for example gc.bgm, in that you want some file like bca, okay, so it will be like slash 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 and so on. So the information will be having, please stop doing it. Domain names, I mean, and once this is done, we have this domain resource records. Okay, so let us understand what is the domain resource records. So resource records are nothing but they are associated in the database. Top load domain can have a set of records. So these records are nothing but the DNS database. So let us understand this now. Okay, so these are the types that we have, and then the resource records. So this is the example of a database where it will be having different things, name, and then followed by the class, type, and so on. So these are the, it consists of the tuple. So we'll come back to this again. So let us understand what is this domain resource records. So these records are used in the domain name system, where each tuple, it will be having 5 columns, and it will be used to identify it belongs to which particular file or a particular application belongs to which particular domain. For this we use this domain resource records. Okay, so every domain, whether it is a single host or a top level domain, can have a set of resource records associated with it. So these records are the DNS database. So basically, as we shown, this is the DNS database. Okay, the most common resource record is just IP address, but many other kinds of resource records are also exist. So for a host, if I am the host, I will be having my IP address as my record. But when a resolver gives a domain name DNS, it gets back our resource record. So whenever a resolver is sending a request and getting back a reply, so it consists of these different other information as well. So please stop doing this. I can get to know who are doing this. So, okay. So domain name tells the domain to which this records apply. So it has got domain name, time to live, class type, and value. So it is like a record, okay, tuple we can say. Okay, so it consists of 5 columns: domain name, time to live, class type, and value. So as we looked in that example, it consists of the same things. So first let us understand this. The domain name tells the domain to which this record applies. So this field is thus the primary search key. Like we have a primary search key in any record. So domain name tells it belongs to which particular domain. So like for example, gcc.bgm, or whether it is edu and so on. So for that we use this domain name. Next concept is the time to live. So this time to live gives for how long it will exist. Okay, so basically they have given the example like the number of seconds in one day. How stable the record is. Information that is highly stable is assigned a large value. If the information is very stable, I mean, if there is no any internet problem or the traffic, we can keep it as a highly stable. Or if it is volatile, or if it is temporary, we can restrict for only 1 minute. Next we have is the class, type, and value. So we'll understand what are the different type, meaning, and value we have. So the third field, every resource record is the class. For internet information, it is always in. So the class will be always fixed with the value, that is this class column will always have the value that is in. For non-internet information, other codes can be used, but for our syllabus what we have is the only the class will always consist of in. And then we have the type field, what kind of record this is. So let us understand how the tuple will consist of. So let us understand this first one, that is we have different types here: type, meaning, and value. So the first one we have is the SOA. So this gives the information of the meaning of this SOA is start of authority. Okay, the start of authority will also give the information about the, please unmute yourself. So start of authority, parameters for this zone, and then we have this IPv4 address, a host. So this SOA uh, provides the name of the primary resource information about the name server's zone, and also it provides the email address of the administrator, who is the administrator, and all this information will be provided by this start authority. Then we have this IPv4 address of a host, that is the 32-bit integer. This is, whoever is doing this, stop doing it. Okay, so this is a consist of 32-bit integer, that is the IPv4 address of a host. So we'll be having two things: one is the host and one is the server. So if I am typing a URL from my browser, so I will have a type as A. And if you are using the IPv6 address, it will be